At some point during your time playing Warzone, you will have done some sniping. Compared to the standard multiplayer in Modern Warfare, Warzone offers you much greater gunfighter distances, and the general path that people take when customizing their weapons in all different aspects is to try and extend the range as much as possible. And even though the marksman and the sniper rifles are built to focus on long-range combat already, you can do even more to make them reach further. Now that Season 4 is here, I'm sure a bunch of people will want to know what the best sniper loadout in Warzone is. So look no further than this video right here. So first of all, which sniper rifle do you actually pick? You've got a choice between two bolt-action sniper rifles, the HDR or the AX50. I'm going to tell you to take the HDR. There are a few key points hidden within the weapon stats for this gun that make it the clear choice over the AX50, and I'll cover those in this video. The HDR is a more hard-hitting sniper rifle of the two weapons, and that makes it a better option in Warzone, where enemies have more health due to the armor plate system, and of course, as I already mentioned, the extended ranges that you're going to be operating at. So now we've picked the HDR, how do we kit it out with various different attachments? How are we going to change this sniper rifle to make it even better? Well, the first thing you're going to want to do is equip the HDR 26.9-inch Pro barrel. That's the longest barrel available for this weapon. The main reason for this is an increase in damage range. It pushes out the max damage to 125 meters compared to the base barrel, which pushes to 100 meters. The other major benefit is a massive increase in bullet velocity, and I genuinely mean that when I say it. It is a massive increase. This means your bullets fired will reach their target faster, and it is quite considerably faster with the Pro barrel. Bullet velocity increases to 143%. The HDR, already with the base barrel, has a faster bullet velocity than the AX50, but the Pro barrel pushes it out even further in front, and it means that you don't really have to lead your targets anywhere near as much as you would have done. Inside the 200 meter mark roughly, don't even bother leading your target, just aim right on the target and then hit the fire button and you will land a hit 99% of the time. Hitting moving targets with the HDR is much easier than it is with the AX50 at longer ranges, and as I said earlier, you will be operating at longer ranges in Warzone most of the time because of the size of the map and your positioning compared to the rest of the players in your squad. If you're running with a sniper rifle, chances are you will be operating at longer distances than, say, someone who's running an assault rifle and an SMG combo. The next attachment that you're going to want to take for your HDR is the monolithic suppressor, and it's for kind of secondary reasons that you'll want to take this. The main reason that you'd want to run any suppressor on any weapon in Warzone would be to keep yourself off the minimap when you're firing that gun, and of course to reduce the sound of that gun firing so that enemies that might be close to you shouldn't be able to pinpoint your location anymore. However, the added benefit of the monolithic suppressor is an increase in damage range, further extending things out for the HDR, and that gives you a max damage hit out another further 9 meters. Range is pretty much everything in Warzone, so you really should be taking anything extra that you can to make your shots count. The monolithic, due to its size and its added weight, does make movement a little bit slower with this weapon, and it does affect your aim a little bit as well, but we're going to remedy that with some other attachments to the HDR. Third attachment that you'll want to go for is the tac laser. Might sound a little bit weird to add a laser to a sniper rifle, considering you're not really going to be walking around hip-firing people, but it's actually a benefit to have it for general aim purposes. It reduces your aim down sight speed, which is a big thing on sniper rifles where high-powered scopes, they have a tendency to increase the aim down sight time. So by having the tac laser, you're shaving a little bit of that time back off this weapon. It does mean that your laser can be spotted by enemies who might be looking at you, or perhaps they're going to see that laser on a piece of cover right next to them, and that is going to give your position away, but I'd argue that's a very small trade-off. As a sniper, you're going to be giving off a scope glint anyway, so if an enemy is looking at you, they're already going to see you. So adding a laser, that's not going to make a huge amount of difference. The benefits to adding the tac laser to your weapon far outweigh the small negative that it comes with. When you scope in, you want that time to be as short as possible, because when you're scoped in, you lose a huge amount of peripheral vision, but you literally become tunnel focused. So being able to switch in and out of ADS really quickly, that is really important. Then, for our fourth attachment here, you really need to consider the stock that you're running on the HDR, because depending on which one you pick, it's going to massively change how it feels to use it when it comes to moving around, and you are going to make little adjustments as a sniper so that maybe you can peer around a piece of cover, and so movement is very important, just as much as it is to have a high amount of damage. Now personally, I've taken to using the Stalker Scout stock, because once again, it reduces your aiming down sight speed. This stock does slightly decrease the accuracy of the HDR, but you have to consider that this build of this weapon that we've been going through is already extremely accurate with massive bullet velocity increases because of the Pro barrel that we've equipped. So a small drop in accuracy for a shorter ADS time so that you can quickly acquire targets off in the distance, I think that's a trade-off worth making. And it makes you slightly more adaptable in the mid-range. Say you get caught out and someone with an automatic weapon starts firing at you and you've got this HDR in your hands. If you can move a little bit quicker because of the stock you've got, then that's a benefit too. And then for your fifth and last attachment here, I think it's a bit of a toss-up between two different perks, and it really depends at what point of the match you're in as to which of these perks you should really go for. It's either Fully Loaded or Presence of Mind. Fully Loaded, that gives you an HDR sniper rifle with full ammunition from your loadout drop. That means you get 5 rounds in the magazine and 40 in reserve right off the bat. You can go into action without really having to worry about how many shots you've got left before you're no longer helpful to your team. You've got all the ammunition you could possibly need. And then, Presence of Mind, that increases the amount of time that you can hold your breath when you're aiming down sights, which at longer ranges where the target might be moving around a little bit, or they might be so far away that you need to make some minute adjustments to your aim, that extra time is going to really help you. It keeps your aim steady and you can focus in on what matters. Now, I have Fully Loaded equipped on one of my HDR loadouts that I pick earlier on in matches so that I can have that ammunition for the rest of the round, and then Presence of Mind is equipped on a Ghost or a Restock perk loadout that I have for the HDR as well, so that in the mid-game I can switch to a different HDR build for those longer range moments, and I get better aim steadiness. So this HDR build, it gives you extra power at range with some more mobility and quicker aim down sight times. And that makes it a mobile but very, very powerful sniper rifle for Warzone. In Warzone, you know that people can creep up on you out of almost nowhere, and you can never hear their footsteps. So having a rifle that you can move around with fairly quickly, that's going to stop you getting hit too hard by somebody, and then it will also allow you to dip in and out of cover and aiming down sights nice and quickly so that you can get back at those players with some high damage that you've got. At longer ranges, this HDR absolutely destroys people, and in solos, you're going to find that this takes down people more often than not. There's basically no bullet drop out to about 300 meters with the HDR, and that makes it really, really good for those long range moments. In duos, trios, and quads, this thing is going to help you take down maybe another sniper from another squad at long range, and it's going to stop that enemy squad from then targeting you because they're going to go and assist that player and get them back up. That's going to allow you and your squad to move and perhaps reposition for a better angle in that gunfight. Honestly, I believe that this is the best sniper rifle build in Warzone, hands down. And for Season 4, at least until the middle of the season, when we do get a new sniper rifle, because a new one is coming, it is going to net you a lot of kills and a lot of takedowns, and it's really good fun to use. I will say that the AX50 definitely has a place in Warzone, but it's going to be for those slightly closer range battles where follow-up shots are more important to take an enemy off the map and to put them in the gulag. But in my opinion, with the increased maneuverability that my HDR build can give you, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a reason to take the AX50 over the HDR. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something as well. Let me know down in the comments what your favourite sniper rifle is in Warzone, and maybe what build you run as well. I might be trying out some new ones in the near future. Because at the end of the day, it really is all down to personal preference. I can tell you that this is the best sniper rifle build, but there'll be plenty of you out there that run with something else that you're quite comfortable with, and you dominate with as well. But again, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.